Good to have you back. Now, the murder trial against 5 men accused of murdering then Bafana captain Senzo Meyiwa continues today. Sergeant Thabo Mosia began his testimony yesterday, and today he is expected to deal with the contentious issue of whether the crime scene was tampered with or not. eNCA Slindelo Masikane is in court, and let's go talk to her. She's standing by for us. Good morning to you, Slee. I think before we get even into what to expect today in court, perhaps let's just recap on what has happened and transpired so far. Sergeant Thabo Mosia taking the stand, talking about evidence, very important in this case, and whether or not it has been tampered or not, I suppose we'll be finding out as well today.
Certainly, of course, the trial beginning in earnest yesterday, but really officially last week, Friday, where we had the indictment read into the record by the state prosecutor, George Baloy. And what we saw yesterday taking place was the first state witness taking to the witness box to give their evidence before the court. And, of course, the gallery being filled to capacity in terms, of course, of COVID-19 regulations. In the gallery, we had the Meyiwa sisters, Nomalanga and Zama Meyiwa, who were accompanied by Kheri Nal. And so once we had all the accused in court, then the first state witness was then sworn in, that is Sergeant Thabo Mosia. He was on standby on the evening of which Senzo Meyiwa was killed. He works for the forensics department in the police unit, and he says he got a call at around 1:45 on the 26th of October telling him to make his way to a crime scene in Vosloorus. When he got there, he was met by the police officers who were first on the scene, briefed him on what was going on, describing how the crime scene had already been cordoned off with crime scene tape. He was then given a walkthrough in terms of trying to paint a picture or trying to, piece together what really transpired. And this is when he began to collect evidence. He noted that there was a hat on the floor. He noted cans of alcohol, a walking stick, but also a fragmented bullet which was found behind the kitchen door on top of the kitchen counter behind some glass jars. We know, of course, that the 5 accused in this matter are facing 5 charges. That's murder, attempted murder, robbery with aggravated circumstances, as well as possession of an unlicensed firearm, as well as possession of ammunition. They've all pled not guilty to these charges. We know that yesterday what also transpired, Dumelo, was the fact that we had Kelly Khumalo's lawyer, Magdalene Munsami, actually excused from court proceedings. She was here on a watching brief for Ms. Kelly Khumalo, but it's been a contentious issue between the lawyers representing the accused as well as Ms. Munsami. The judge himself had no issues, in fact, with Munsami being in court, but because the defense was crying foul, saying that, it's going to be prejudicial. Basically, Kelly Khumalo is a potential witness in this matter, and her having a lawyer in here before she testifies, basically she has eyes and ears according to the defense, and so she has been excused and will be able to return if her client, Ms. Kelly Khumalo, is going to take the stand. But Ms. Munsami has been quite adamant in saying that Kelly Khumalo is ready to take the stand, that she wants this matter to be put to rest, saying that she's been the subject of a court of public opinion. And so today what we are expecting, Dumelo, is that Mosia will then make his way back to the witness box to continue with his evidence, but also cross-examination of his evidence as well, but also questions around whether the scene was actually tampered with ahead of him actually collecting evidence. This was a question that was posed to him by the judge, and then he said that he would want to get to it a little later on. So we are also expecting, once Mosia wraps up his evidence, we're expecting a ballistic expert to then take the stand.
Happened in court this morning. Slindelo Masikane, eNCA reporter, giving us those updates throughout the day. And we know that, Magdalene Munsami being taken out, Gareth, has been a call for contention. I mean, she also came out saying that she didn't understand why necessarily she had to be removed from court, because in as much as she's in the hands of the court and will, of course, oblige, the evidence basically will be in the public domain because it will be live broadcast on television. Of course, those were just the events that took place yesterday. But keen keen to see what happens today and what the testimony from Thabo Mosia would be in terms of evidence being tampered with, possibly, on the crime scene.
Yeah, the contaminated murder scene is going to be a big, big issue as well, because we remember how many cases we've covered over the years when a court case starts with the suggestion that the murder scene or the crime scene itself has been tampered with. You can end up in a court case that could run for very, very long before you even get to the actual witness's testimony as well, and the weight they're going to attach to what a witness says versus what the prosecution is going to say, because it's going to keep having this tarnished rhetoric around the crime scene. It's going to keep coming back to that all the time. We've seen court cases being lost as a result of the way a crime scene has been managed. So that's going to be a much bigger story. I'm very keen, though, on that angle you're talking about being allowed in court for a client before the potential calling of her to come and testify as well. I actually want to get a legal expert on that. Is that unusual? It seems unusual, but is it? Or is it just because it's Kelly Khumalo's lawyer that now everyone is focusing on that? I think we should get a legal expert on that. How does a court normally conduct itself in a situation like that?